hi, thanks for seeing me. I'd like to run the FILA band. And they just sat there like they laughed at me. They said, we're just going to give you advice. Don't do it.
What do you think that is?
It's just learning by error. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
And it's having the mentality to know that nothing's a failure. Everything's a learning process. A lot of guys so the trick is taking yourself out of your comfort zone and making it uncomfortable and trying to find the comfort in the uncomfortable. You learn patience and you again see trends in women's wear, and then you start actually learning that women's wear leads men's wear. And I don't think it should, like nowadays, I mean, we'll get to this later, I'm sure, but I don't think that should lead your decision making.
Yes.
Rather find a good way to explain the story.
Yes.
That's what I think, because everyone wants to learn, and if it's cool and it's part of your DNA and your story, it's okay. But back in those days, it wasn't. Back in those days, it was just literally design, put on the shelf, hope. And those stories being young and arrogant and being on top of the world, thinking you're untouchable and like, oh man, I'm the best.
No one can tell me
No one
shit.
can touch me.
Yeah.
I fell from grace in respect in that I sell out. And you're like, oh man,
Look at
the
me.
greatest thing ever. GQ 30 under 30, blah, blah, blah. And then you realize you've got no product in store. How are you going to pay rent? You're like,
And you're live on deadradio.
Welcome to another very, very special episode of deadradio with your boy Ini. And today, oh man, another very special guest in the building, reporting live from 138 Smuts at the Dead store. We're going to let our guests introduce themselves, and then we're going to get into their life story. And you know how we do. Get those jewels for you guys to use in your everyday lives. So without further ado, yes, sir.
thank you very much. First of all,
Thank you.
immensely humbled to be here.
Thank
Been a
you.
big fan of the work. I've watched the brand grow from infant to where it is
Yeah,
now.
to
It's
where it
amazing
is.
to see the store and the offshoots you guys are doing with it. So excellent. Thank you. Humbled, honored, and looking
Thank
forward
you.
to the conversation.
Thank you.
My name is Dale. I am a creative, a designer. I currently head up Johnathan D's creative and all the design work there. Yeah, man, just all around searching for awesome, man. That's the story. That's what I am. I'm
Searching.
an old man in a young man's body searching
I
for the
love
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure,
It's
thank you.
It's a huge honor. How are you today?
I am excellent. I'm great. I'm
Yeah.
great. I'm alive. I'm well. Slightly tired. I had my daughter's 5th birthday yesterday party, so there was
dope.
about 60 kids running around going crazy. So I'm a little bit fatigued. As I told you this morning, I pulled my glutes stepping out of bed. So as I said, I'm an old man, but I'm alive. I'm well. I'm happy. That's
You're
what's
good.
important.
I
yeah.
feel you. Okay.
How are you doing? Are you good?
Thank you so much for asking.
it's-
I'm great. Like I told you, Mondays are my favorite
Brilliant, yeah.
days. I use the anxiety to fuel me. So I'm
The
good.
rebranding on Monday. It's important, right? Yeah.
You
it's
have
about time,
to.
you know.
Otherwise, Monday will always hit you smack dead in the
It's
face.
the Sunday night carte blanche music, exactly. You need a rebranding. Let's get it going.
Exactly. Okay, let's start your story from the beginning.
beginning.
Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Born and raised Johannesburg.
Dope.
Yeah.
Josie.
Josie,
Yeah,
Josie, boy, I
yeah,
love it
yeah,
here.
yeah.
I am an honorary and very much in love with Johannesburg. I'm sad with the state it's looking at now, not to get there, but I love Joburg. I've always believed there is a beat in the city that no other city in South Africa can compare with and handle.
Yeah.
We do things amazingly here.
Maybe even Africa.
I don't know
Maybe
much about Africa. I haven't seen enough of it to think it, but I feel like, yes, the sentiment is there.
I've been
definitely.
around enough to be like, yeah,
Yeah.
Joburg is very unique.
Yeah, it is
Very
very unique.
unique.
And I found the work and creative that comes out of the city here is comparable to the world, which is excellent.
What do you think it is about Joburg that fuels some of the best creatives in the world?
It's you being chased continuously. If you stop, you get eaten. It's the
Okay.
jungle
It's the
mentality.
jungle
yeah.
mentality.
If you stop, you're going to get eaten. So it's survival of the fittest. You got to be fast. You got to be maybe detrimental first to the party, and then be able to perfect your game.
And
but it's,
build on top of
Yes,
that.
but I think it's like do or die. You're going to get killed if you're not. Inverted commas. I mean, yeah, probably also, but not to sound dark, but that's exactly what it is. Which is good. It breeds inspiration. You know? And I find people are very competitive here, but healthy competitive. I find other cities, not to point fingers, the competition is very backhanded and like no one really wants to nurture stuff. Here we want to compete for the better good of the game.
And competition is such an important element in any industry, right? As long as it stays healthy.
Yes. As long as you don't watch your competition.
Yes.
As yourself, as a creative, as a designer, as anything, stay in your lane, do you. That's the important part. You do what you want to do. Have the competition feel you to be the better version of you.
I hear that.
But don't sit and stare and watch what competition's doing and worry too much on their story, because then you're not competing. Then you're just trying to be your competitor or trying to better your competitor. Spite store, that's what it is. You're trying to be spiteful. And you'd rather do you.
I hear that.
Yeah, so that's the story. So sorry, we kind of digressed.
Yeah, we digress.
So born and raised Johannesburg. Grew up in Glen Hazel, the Jewish quarters of South Africa.
Dope.
And man, my story is just that. Always grew up loving doing things my own way.
Okay.
Having a bit of an authority problem that I wanted to learn how to do things. I didn't want to be told how to do things. I wanted to be like, let me figure out for myself.
So you had a DIY mentality, do it
Yes,
yourself.
definitely. I don't want to be for the simplest thing is I don't want to be told that you have to wear things that way or play football that way or play basketball. You're too short for basketball or you can't skateboard or etc. All the little things. I want to do it and I want to do it in my way.
In your own
exactly.
way.
And I was happy doing it my way. When I felt like I was doing things the correct way or the
Linear way.
Yeah, the linear way. It didn't feel correct. It never had felt correct. Even when I started with my drumming, it didn't feel correct listening to how to play this beat or do it this way. It was, let me just figure it out. I will get there because I know, I've always backed myself. I was like, I know I'll get there. So that was my mentality. And I think that's been my fire throughout my life is listening, learning, sharing, but also doing it your own way. That's like since I'm turning 40 this year, that's like been my mantras, like learn, share, and do it your own way.
Okay, you believe in open sourcing knowledge.
It's important.
Basically.
It's very important.
I think that's my favorite thing to come from the internet era. Open sourcing of information. Okay, tell us about Dale as a young man in terms of, were you an extrovert? Were you an introvert?
I did a test in December, one of those online tests.
Yeah, the online test.
And I hit 98% extrovert, 2% introvert. And I think the 2% is actually the toilet time in my life. That's the only time I'm alone. So that's what I think. Because otherwise, if it was allowed, I'd probably have people in with me in the bathroom.
I get that.
I'm 100% extrovert. I feed off people. I feed off good vibes and good conversation. I love conversation.
Okay.
I have learned to listen, which as an extrovert is a good tool. You must learn to listen more.
Yeah.
But I
2
just
ears, 1 mouth,
exactly,
right?
Yeah, exactly. And I definitely love atmosphere. My energy comes from atmosphere. If it's dull, how to build up the dull atmosphere by bring it on board. I love being around settings with people.
Okay.
But also sounds contradictory. I've learned to enjoy my own time. Maybe it's the voices in the head, but I've learned to enjoy my own time. But
you need both, right?
You do need both.
You need both. You need the balance.
Theory of zeroing. You've got to be at zero. You don't want to be positive or negative. But yeah, as a young man, I was rambunctious. I was brash. I was loud. I was friendly. That's where my born hooligans came. My parents always called me hooligan because I was always bubbly and happy and running and bouncing.
So it came from you being
a young lad. Yeah. There's a Yiddish saying which is called a zulik. It's a zulik translates to hooligan. So my gran coined me when I was probably like maybe 4 or 5. There's the zulik. He's a zulik. Had a giant red afro. I was just this outgoing, brash character, and I was called a zulik. So yeah.
The outgoingness, right? Who nurtured that? Because a lot of parents could have been like, oh, I need you to become a square because the world is full of squares.
So it's definitely my parents.
They fuel
it. So my mom's a very artistic, creative person, and my dad is a lawyer. So the balance between the two of them kind of nurtured me. Like, my dad tried to keep me straight. He always told me, it's like, you got to do you, be you, but do it responsibly, do it reasonably, and within guidance of the world. You can't do everything because that's the law. And my mother was a creative. Be free spirited.
Be free.
Be you. And just try all creative stuff. She's always been creative. My dad's always been an excellent attorney. So it's been, that definitely nurtured me. And they never held me back. When I told my parents, I remember, let's say when I was young, I don't know exactly, I'd say 12, I was like, I wanted to be a drummer when I grew up. I said, that's my dream, that's my goal. to tell your parents you want to be a musician is not
like-
they're like, especially in your
Then-
dad's an attorney, he's like, no, you're going to be an attorney. I'm like, unfortunately, I'm
not going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not.
And you're live on Dead Radio. And you're live on Dead Radio.
So they said, fine, if you're going to do it, do it. But do
it.
it properly. Like, go and do it. Don't just say you're going to do it. Go out there and do it.
Okay. I would like to talk about the transition from you being a young man when you were 10, 12, 11 to transitioning to you being a teenager, right? Yeah. How do you evolve as a person? You spoke about like the drums. Yeah. We also spoke a little bit about movies because you have a love for movies.
Yeah. So my parents always knew I was going to be in fashion or something creative because when I was 6, they got me a pair of red cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. Dope. And I refused to wear it with anything else. I just wore that with everything. Okay. Even I used to fall asleep in it, and then they had to cut it off my foot because I grew too big for it, so they had to cut it off my feet. So they knew I was always going to be an offbeat character. Okay. And then I also found, that was my youth. And then moving older, I always try to find, as you spoke earlier, the love of subcultures and the love of pop culture, and I love that. Yeah. I just wasn't like other children and growing up in a Jewish school where everyone's kind of, not in a negative, everyone's the same. They have the same likes and the same interests. I always like offbeat. When the kids in my grade loved pop music, I was attracted to hip hop music. When I found the love of music, I was attracted to punk and emo and rock and blues and everything that is history and full of richness, not pop music or whatever R&B at that stage. Yeah, bubblegum.
Whatever you thought was bubblegum.
I was always offbeat, so I was always told I zagged when everyone zigged. And that's just been a natural instinct to me. It's not like I do that as, let's do it because I have to. Oh, damn the anarchy. Damn the man, let's be anarchists.
That's just naturally.
It's just naturally me. I was always a niche character. I found niche. Like when my friends and family and whoever were watching movies that were on the cinema, I was watching B-grade horror films. Okay. When they grew up watching, I can't even remember names of it. Let's say I was watching Alfred Hitchcock and not the teeny bop film. But don't get me wrong, I love the teeny bop film, but I was attracted to that, you know. So that's where my niche characteristics
really
and my
developed.
Yeah, my love for design and D.I.Y. and indie. So an independent thinker.
I want to double tap and open that folder, the niche character folder, right? Especially through your teenage years. Yes, sir. That's the time when most people are most prone to being influenced by their friends. Yeah. But you sound like you were very stuck in what you liked and you were unapologetic about what you liked. How did you not fall into the trap of moving with the crowd, especially at a time when everyone wants to move with the crowd?
This is a great therapy session. I love this. This is amazing. So I'll
send you the bill. Don't worry.
So I think it actually stems to, is it the nature versus nurture? Being a middle child, I think it was my desire for being the middle child, which is identified as wanting attention. Which is okay. You can use that for the positive.
I'm a last born, so
exactly.
I wouldn't know.
You forgot it. You forgot it. So let them be.
Exactly.
So it's that. And also, to be honest, I thrived on being different. I know it sounds cliche and it sounds very cheesy, but I did. When everyone was wearing flared denims and, this is my youth, I'm giving away my age again. Flared denims and square-toed loafers, I was wearing overalls and boots. My hair was a giant red afro. I just had to stick out because that's who I was. And to be honest, I looked different to everyone growing up. I was a very short dude. I think I was probably like this high till I was probably mid-teens. I had the giant afro. My friends were big,
so
big,
immediately people could pick you out of a crowd.
And also, as I said, I loved subcultures and pop culture, so that kind of nurtured my way I acted and spoke and wanted to be. I was trying to find my identity and the mix from punk and hip hop and rock music and the blues and country. I grew up on loving country music. I put it all together and I was like, that's who I was. My identity was happy in that. Instead of trying to be like, let me try put me a circle into a square box.
Yeah, into a square box.
Let me just fit into my own circle. I don't want to think outside the box. And I watched that, what's the Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
And when she goes, don't be a square, I was like, that stuck with me.
Okay.
So I was like, never be a square. And then
Okay.
a movie, Empire Records, which is also
Yes,
another famous,
yes,
segueing back to
yes,
movies, where
yes.
it's like, damn the man, save the empire. I was like,
Yes.
yes, I need to damn the man. I need to save my empire. And that has stuck with me forever. So
Okay.
that's how it's
That's why you were like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna follow the
yeah,
crowd.
you know when you hear that one mantra or parable, you're like, yes, it sticks with me, and it's like it feels like it's identity like defining.
I feel
and that's
that.
exactly what the don't be a square has always been. Don't be a square, and you can take it any way you want in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
definition.
literally.
My definition was like, don't fit into other people's definitions or boxes of yourself.
Yes,
Be
yes.
be who you want to be, and don't be scared to be you and try things your way. And that's always been my way. As I said, growing up, again, I'll circle back. It's like I didn't want to be told how to do something, because how are you supposed to learn being told? Like, it's good to take that knowledge, but if I'm not going to do it, I'm more of a trial and error type of guy to
Yeah.
learn. And that's how I did my fashion, how I got into fashion. I'm not studied in fashion. It's just trial and error.
Okay.
I think that sparked an idea, so
Yeah.
I'll stop talking
Yeah,
now.
it actually
I'll let it go.
sparked an
Yeah.
idea that I want to ask you. I find not in traditional linear jobs like lawyers, doctors. Obviously, those you have to go to school
Yeah.
to learn, right? But I found in a lot of industries, a lot of people who are self-taught
Yeah.
become more successful than people who are traditionally
Exactly.
taught. What do you think that is?
It's just learning by error. I think that's what it is. And it's
Okay.
having the mentality to know that nothing's a failure, everything's a learning process. A lot of guys in, as you said, in the traditional work,
Yeah.
get taught by textbooks,
Yes,
get taught
yes,
by a mentor,
yes,
and they
yes.
take that mentorship and that textbook, and they become very successful.
Yes, very successful.
And I'm not knocking it. I just don't have that skill set where I can be told, like, here's a textbook, read it, do it.
I hear that.
And I think that's why they hit a certain plateau
Yeah,
in
they
their careers,
do.
and there could be $100 billion companies.
Yeah.
But I think that's why they always push more, because I wanted to keep doing more. For the guys that are self-taught and learn everything, they know everything. Well, they don't know. They know their business. And they're learning every day because they know that the error helps them build.
I think the power also comes from believing in yourself.
Exactly.
Because I literally didn't know how to pick up a camera and shoot,
Yeah.
and then I taught myself how to do
And
this.
don't you find that because you haven't, you are seeing angles which aren't taught because they haven't been either found yet, or
Yes.
the people teaching it don't believe in that angle.
Yes.
And that's why I think when you find the filmmakers and the photographers and the footwear designers and the fashion creators and the musicians who
Yeah.
figure out the angles,
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
wow, hold on,
Yeah.
look at that. And
Yeah.
that opens up more inspiration to more
Literally.
angles and new ways of how you're doing things.
Yes.
So we also, I mean, when I hit a creative stump, I have this book in my office, and I've been doing it for years, where I take a pen and I put it in my left hand. I'm right-handed, and I just write quotes and thoughts down left-handed. And it has to be as messy and dirty, and it mustn't look good. It's got to be the wabi-sabi. So I'm looking for the perfection in the imperfect. And then you just go back and read on, and that's where you start getting inspired, because
hear
it's
that.
using a different part of your mind
your
and doing it
brain,
trial and error.
right.
And your A's don't look good, and your N's don't look good, and your P's don't look good, but you start reading it, and you're like, hold on, look how nice it. And that's how a lot of the logos and text and stuff we've done over the years came from doing that.
Hey. Yo, I hope you guys are writing that one down. Using your other hand
Yeah.
is
So-
a huge key.
So the trick is taking yourself out of your comfort zone and making it uncomfortable and trying to find the comfort in the uncomfortable. And I guess that actually segues completely back to what you're saying.
Yeah.
People find comfort in being told how to do something
Yes,
and
yes,
mentored and textbooks.
yes,
And the
yes.
uncomfortable part is going out and doing it.
Yourself.
Exactly. It's like the first day on the job. It's like, hold on, no one's here. No one's going to tell me what to do. A lot of people panic, and it's okay. Panic is good. Panic's a feel that helps you create and
True,
do
true.
something. But you got to just go with it. And you just got to be like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm uncomfortable. How am I going to find my comfort? And that is doing what you know,
Yeah.
just doing it differently.
Yeah. Fuck, I love
Yeah.
that. I love that.
So yeah, that's why I think the people that I am,
Self-taught.
the people that I look for to inspiration and mentorship, be it people I know or celebrities or people I don't actually know, just follow. I think they were all self-taught.
Yeah.
And I think I share that same trailblazer or renegade rebel mentality with,
Yeah.
because you have to have that internally to go and try further something, to be comfortable and saying, okay, we've done this for 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. Let's just keep doing it. It's successful. You're going to get to a point where nothing's going to change and the world needs change. You're going to hit the barrier. You're going to hit the ceiling. And that's how I got to Johnathan D. My bosses who I drive a lot of respect for and mentorship from, they did that, and they're like, they need to push it further, and that's how our conversation together started. Yeah, so...
Okay.
But we'll get back to that.
Let's get back
my youth.
on the timeline.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're a teenager. When do you start drumming, actually?
So, let me try to get the memory correct. So, when I was young, I always wanted to be a rock star.
Okay.
Loved music. And that's how I found my love for fashion also. Looking at all the rock stars in magazines and following them, like, that's amazing. I love that.
That's why you were drawn to being a rock star, because they did it their own way.
Exactly. It's also, I've just loved drums. I've just, since my dad was a drummer, and I've just actually naturally just tapping the whole time. My foot, I think my foot's been going the whole time anyway. It's just naturally been a drummer. So me and one of my best mates, when we were in standard 4, I don't know what that translates to, grades, I don't know. We used to call it standard 4, whatever.
I think that's grade
When we were
6,
12, when we were 12,
Okay, cool.
We're like, let's start a band. We're like, cool, what do you want to play? He's like, I want to be the drummer. I was like, okay, fine, I'll be the lead singer.
Okay.
And then he went for a drum lesson, and he couldn't do the drums. He just wasn't four-way, couldn't. He's like, okay, I got to be the drummer.
It needs rhythm,
Yeah,
right?
he's like, you be the drummer, I'll be the singer. I was like, okay, cool. And then that's it. I didn't go for a lesson. And then we went to high school.
What was the name of the band?
That one, we've had so many.
Because those are very important.
So it was actually The Slugs, was the first name. Yeah, The Slugs. And he's an amazing artist. He's incredibly talented. He drew us a CD cover, hand-drawn of us slugs, and we all looked like slugs.
D.I.Y. once again.
So we went from The Slugs to Dawn 16, to the little Jewish band from a corner of the hill, to... we had so many names.
That's an amazing name. Yo, I love that name.
So actually, the first time we played together as a band was when we were Form 3. So what's that? When we were 16.
So that's what, grade 10 or something?
Grade 10,
like
16. There was a Battle of the Bands. And 2 weeks, no, probably like a month before, we're like, let's enter Battle of the Bands. We're like, I can't play music. I haven't played drums. So I went for 2 or 3 lessons. He had a guitar. He was playing guitar. We wrote a terrible cover of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And we wrote a terrible cover of an terrible original, and we came, I think, 3rd or 2nd in there.
Crazy.
So we recorded Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Then we just carried on playing every weekend. We just carried on playing. And then when we were 18, I'll skip the rest of the years. But actually, the cool part of that is we wanted to wear our own uniform in the bands there. So I was stealing my sister's skinny jeans because there weren't men's skinny jeans in those days.
At that time, right?
We would take normal T-shirts, and we used to cut off the collar and scoop neck them because there wasn't scoop necks here. And with that, so we were doing our own DIY band identity, but I was learning fashion that way. And my other best mate, he has a hat company, Simon and Mary, and they have a factory down there, and they used to import caps, so we took trucker caps and drew on trucker caps. So that's how I learned fashion, through doing music at the same time. And then when we were 18, I had the lucky opportunity to go live overseas for a year, which was in London, and then we went there, and I went to work in fashion there because I was drawn to fashion, and obviously there was no menswear here. There wasn't even a fashion scene for menswear here. So I went overseas with the dream to learn how to be in fashion and see if there's something. Because the weird thing is, it's going to sound weird, but to be in fashion, you had to be female back in those days. It was like seen as a female job, and I don't really care about that. I wanted, like in school, I did home ec to learn how to sew and stuff. I wish I carried on, but I didn't. And cook. I wanted to be a chef also, but that's a different story. So I went to London to learn fashion and try and make it in music there. Luckily, I was never as good to be a professional drummer. But I had this natural knack for fashion.
Damn.
And I learned, and then my father again saying, like, if you're going to do something, learn the whole business, learn how everything works. And it was his drive and push to make me learn everything. So I learned how to stock take, learned how to work in a warehouse, how to pack boxes, how to kimble, which is put price tags in, sit in a stockroom in London just packing shelves.
So you learned the business from the back end.
My first job in fashion was retying shoelaces from people that were trying on sneakers in the store. It gets put in the back there, and I had to relace them, put them in the box correctly, and put the box on the shelf. So it looks like no one's tried them on. So That's everyone thinks you're trying on a brand new pair. Sometimes you're not. So I had to learn it that way. Then I went to learn how to sit on the store and sell shoes to people.
Let's pause you learning, or you'd rather tying back sneakers. What did you learn about people's choice?
So that's why I say it was the blessing I had was sitting there, because when you sit there, you start seeing cycles and trends. Because you're sitting in a stockroom, and in London the stores are 3 stories. There's tens and thousands of units sitting there. Very much a hyperbola, but I use that for the interest of story. And you start seeing the shoes that are coming back, the shoes you're taking out, and shoes that are coming back. And you start seeing like, oh wait, we've sold 50 pairs of yellow and black sneakers today, but all the white ones came back today. Why is that? And then you see, oh wait, but high tops are selling today and low tops aren't. And you start seeing a trend, and you start seeing brands like, oh wait, we've sold 60 Nikes and only 10 Addy. And this is like, you're not literally writing it down, but you start understanding, because sitting in a room and not doing anything in a very small room and just relacing, you start seeing and start thinking to yourself. So you start seeing cycles and trends, and then also, again, with apparel, you start seeing, oh wait, hoodies are selling. Okay, winter's coming, so people are buying hoodies, but not buying crew necks. Why? What graphics, what brands, what sizes. So you're subconsciously absorbing all this
information.
And then when you're on the store, when they promote you from stockroom to a storefront, you start learning how to push products to people. You're like, hey, hold on, the top seller is the Uptown. Why don't you try Uptown today instead of a high top? And then why don't you wear the Samba today and not the Gazelle? And you start learning that, and you start seeing people's affinity to what's happening. So that's all stuff you can't learn from a textbook.
At all.
And you can't learn that from even being told. You got to learn that from being seen.
You can't pay for that education.
So you are in the war zone. You're on the front lines. You're in the trenches. You're getting thrown grenades all day. You're like, okay, yeah, cool. They're not selling. And even when they tell you in the morning, like, today we have to sell, we have an overstock of red Gazelles. You got to sell them. And you can't, if you're not, people aren't going to want to buy it. They're not going to buy it, no matter how hard. But you can try and encourage them to say, well, not the Gazelle. The Samba is trending. This is now. But back in the day, it was purely Gazelle. You'd be like, no, but let's try push the Sambas today, and you'll clear the Gazelles. And you didn't have enough guts to say that as an 18-year-old thrown in there, but you start realizing, you start learning, and that's where you start learning from the people that have been doing it, and you start taking your own concepts to it. Doing old school thinking with new age. Yeah.
Damn. Wow.
So that was my intro, and then obviously I went to at that stage, it was the Harvard of fashion, which was Topshop. It was before they went massive. They were on Oxford Street. They were the spot for fashion. Everyone was there. All models used to get scouted there. It was the 3 stories, the mecca of fashion back in 2003. This is.
And you're there.
I applied for the job. As I got there, I said I wanted to go work for Topshop there. So I took my CV. I remember I walked in, handled in there. They said, thank you. If there's something comes up,
reach out.
Never heard from them. I walked to Gucci, which was on, I think, just off Regent Street. Don't quote me on this exact. It's been a while. Handed my CV, and they will say, thank you if there's something comes up. And didn't hear from for months. So I did bar work. I worked in the kitchen. I did everything to survive. And follow another desire of mine, which was become a chef and learn that. I wanted to be a TV chef. I grew up watching TV chefs, so that's what I wanted to be.
Gordon Ramsay vibes.
Or even before Floyd, he was the original. He was a legend. But I love Ramsay also. But I mean, like Matty Matheson nowadays, he's doing the best. But I digress again. So good conversation. So when I was actually got fired from a bar job.
Just crazy.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens.
It happens. You're a young man. You run late you have a good night party before you run late.
And then you don't come to work. And
then I had no job, and you're living in London. Like, I got to get work. And then your phone rings, and there was no WhatsApps. There was nothing. It was literally on a Nokia 8210 cell phone. I answered a little one. I remember they said, come for an interview at Topshop. I was like, dream come true. Went there. I remember sitting there. Me and 30 other people were sitting there, interviewed. They made you act. They made you show your personality, because for them, because they were the Mecca, they want you to be a personality. They want you to start becoming a personality in the business, which is what I've always taken with me here into fashion. You don't want to go work somewhere and not be involved with it. You want to become and put your stamp on it, but you want to be a personality because you're being hired for some reason for the brand.
And not just your skills.
Yeah, or not just being another number in the cog wheel of running. So they loved that. As I said there, I wanted to be menswear. I was obsessed with suiting. So they had a whole suiting floor, which was like skinny suits. It was amazing, and it was all celebrities were coming in. So I wanted to be there, but that was like the top job
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So they put me in the change room, in the women's
Of
change room,
course.
where I had to go put the clothes off the change room and re-rack them.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy I did, because you learn patience and you again see trends in women's wear, and then you start actually learning that women's wear leads men's wear. So you could see what's happening within women's wear, and then you can see how you adapt it to men's wear. And I saw that in Topshop, how it flowed from women all the way up to
the
men's wear. Yeah.
men's
And then obviously I got promoted from Stockroom to teller to men's wear. Then I came home. So yeah.
So once you reached the pinnacle, or what you thought was the pinnacle in that building.
Well, I didn't make it to the suiting or the menswear. I made it to the teller, and then as I was going to hopefully move up, I came home. My visa was finished, and I came home to study. And then, yeah. But what I learned there is like that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do fashion and music. That was it, and there was nothing that was going to stop me. I was like, this is my calling in life. This is who I am. And I'm going to do everything I can to make that my living and my job and my career.
I'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out. And again, coming back in 2004, there wasn't a market here for it. There wasn't. There wasn't. There were no of these brands that you know of now that were like, oh, look at us. So again, telling my parents like, hey, I want to be in fashion or music, and I'm going to do everything for it. Scared them, and they said, okay. And again, my dad's amazing advice, go learn business then, because they're both business. And what will separate you from your competition is knowing business. Yeah, so learn business. So I did a marketing and finance degree.
Okay, dope.
And I've taken a lot of theories and stuff I learned there and helped myself
implement it
into my
your
career,
journey.
So that's how we got to young 24-year-old Dale.
Okay, so you're back in the country. You've learned. You went to boot camp in London. Like the
basic training.
Basic training.
I came back with all my limbs and everything intact.
Literally, you're like, yo, I
My
survived.
hair fell out. I lost my hair, but everything else survived. Yeah, I grew a beard, so I learned that.
Hear that. So, what's the next move for you? Do you continue being a drummer, or do you start the brand?
So
Sweet.
this is where it gets really cool and interesting for young DIY punks that want to learn stuff. So in London, working at this Topshop, I saw that trucker caps was a big trend. And
This
that was
is
in 2003. Yeah.
Pharrell is wearing
Exactly, the NERD cap. That's
Okay.
literally exactly what it is. From there, and then Justin Timberlake had his one also, and he was also just popping. His first, which is his second album, just came out. I can't remember the title. Rock Your Body, whatever. No, the one just after. And in Justified, he was rocking the trucker cap, so it started bleeding into all the top shops, and they were flying because we were selling them. I could see us flying. So I got back, and my mate again, Guy, who's the lead singer of my band, was okay. We're gonna do music, but let's start merch. We started a company called Seven Sisters, which was a tube station in London, which we lived at, or he lived at. We bought from my other best mate, Clive, trucker caps. I told you we used to draw on, and we started screen printing ourselves in his garage logo. So we used to go, we made like a logo pack. We used to go to our school, because we were 19, we went to school. Dudes could take on what trucker caps they want. We would go iron print it and hand deliver to them with swing tickets that we made ourselves. Same time, we were making money to do fun recording of our music. In our music, we got signed to a management company which ran Woodstock and all the big festivals in those days. So that was doing great. But when I was starting to get more and more in love with the fashion stuff and loving the music, but realized that maybe internally I knew I wasn't good enough to become a professional and do it, which is not a bad thing. It's just knowing where your skill sets are and what's going to be able best for you.
I want to pause there quickly. We'll continue. That takes so much self-awareness. A lot of people would not be like, you know what, let me look into the future 5-10 years from now. I don't think I'm good enough. That takes so much self-awareness to even just be aware of that.
It is self-aware, but I feel like it's also a little bit like quitter mentality. Like you can work, because I back myself. I must say I back myself. And I just, something internally in my gut, which I've always listened to my gut, said, go the fashion route. For now, you can figure out the music thing later. And it's okay. I had lots of fun. We played music. The band did very well for 4 or 5 years. I loved it. And then it was never going to be what defined me. It was always going to be my hobby or my personality. But what defined me as a creative and in a career was definitely fashion. So we did the Seven Sisters as the side project. We did our own merch, which I loved. It was all DIY, it was all punk in the garage.
Do you have any of those pieces today?
No, not the Seven Sisters stuff.
Yo, whoever has any of those pieces, hit us up.
So actually what was funny, on our CD album was one of the caps. So you can see a picture of it. But so actually Danny Koppel, Danny K, I don't know if you remember Danny K.
Yes.
He had a tour, the J23 tour, and we did all his merch. And I remember it was the biggest order we had. It was like, I think 3,000 caps. And there's just two of us doing it.
Yeah.
The three of us. There was another guy, Devin, sorry. The three of us are doing it. And after that, we were just so burnt out. Like,
I'm
we
sure
can't
you guys
do
were
anymore.
just like,
We
dudes.
couldn't do anymore. So then we stopped, and then that abolished the brand. And then through the years, we just done the projects. We did some nice silkscreen T-shirts for ourselves. We were studying at the same time. He became an architect. I became marketing, finance dude.
Yeah.
Well, just marketing. I wouldn't say I did anything
really
in
it's
finance.
marketing.
Yeah. And then when I finished school, university,
Yeah.
I got a job with a company called 4U Accessories, which was building accessories ranges for Duns, the store Duns. All their menswear, which they were launching, their menswear department, they were starting to get into accessories. They hired this company and myself through a lady to go and get a range done.
accessories.
Yeah, a range. So we did
Okay.
accessories, which was like rings, necklaces, bracelets, bags. And that's how I started learning from China. We had to go to China twice a year, go to the markets, go to the shows, build a range, go sell the range, see if it worked.
Yeah.
Then look at the sell-throughs and see
Yeah.
what worked, what didn't work, and
Yeah.
carry on.
Okay.
And that was my first real introduction into
Fashion.
fashion, from a sourcing to a selling. And it's mad because it was a small business, it was me and this other lady and two other ladies that helped put price tags on because we weren't big enough to able to price overseas. So the shipment will come, literally the big truck will come to our house where our office as well. We'll unpack it ourselves.
Okay.
And then we'll unbox everything, take stickers of the pricing, and put it
them
on,
on
and put on
there.
of thousands and thousands. So I learned the business from bringing in product, unpacking trucks, putting price tags, boxing, tagging, sending,
And
reading.
seeing what sells.
Reading sell-throughs. So that was a great
What
education.
did you learn about South African men's taste in terms of accessories at that time? Like,
So
were there things that you picked, like when you
Tons,
went
yeah.
to China and you were like, yo, this is definitely going to sell.
Yeah,
and then when you came
tons.
back, it
Yeah.
sold.
Yes, I learned tons, and I also learned that South African market then and now, we're not as far forward thinking as we are. Back in those days, this was 2010, I think, 2008, we were 3 to 4 years behind trend. Remember, there was no social media. Very little if there was. I don't know the exact time, but our consumers only knew what they saw previously. And some, as much as we think we are, and I think we are one of the most forward-thinking people, when it comes to purchasing, we're not. And it's still that now, but it's changing. We're catching up, but it's still one of the main problems and cons of our business here. But I learned that there's a cultural difference also, like sometimes we can't sell snakes because snakes in certain cultures means bad luck.
Exactly.
Scorpions means bad luck. And if the graphic's looking beautiful overseas, they're not going to buy it because it's a cultural thing. And you've got to learn to educate yourself that. I'm not fully aware of all of it. And I still think like, snakes are cool and scorpions are cool. It's the bike rider and look at the bike gangs do it. It's so
Even
rad.
the rock music.
It doesn't translate sometimes, especially to consumers that aren't accessible to
the
global view of things.
zeitgeist,
So that's I learned then, because there was a range. I remember we did where on the necklace was the scorpion wrapped around a stick. Didn't sell at all.
Of course not.
Exactly. On a bag we had like some scorpions embellishment. Didn't sell at all.
I hear that. I think that's such a valuable...
Bow and arrows and like you think the Apache stuff is cool. Didn't really sell because the Red Indians and that didn't really translate here.
Knowing the market, right?
It's important. And I don't think it should, like nowadays, we'll get to this later, I'm sure, but I don't think that should lead your decision making. Rather find a good way to explain the story. That's what I think, because everyone wants to learn, and if it's cool and it's part of your DNA and your story, it's okay. But back in those days, it wasn't. Back in those days, it was just literally design, put on the shelf, hope. It was a hit and hope situation.
I hear that. And I think that's such an important lesson for creatives right now, because sometimes you're too ahead of the market, right? And that can cause problems. But like you said, I think it's more about explaining what this is and the context of it. Like, Storytelling is such a vital skill in
But
any industry.
Any industry, 100%.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. So you guys are doing your thing, and sorry. Okay, cool. Now we're good.
You good?
So you
So, yeah,
guys
so
are
we did
running
we were doing that accessory, and then I went on holiday to Australia with my family.
Okay.
And when I was there, I found a footwear brand. So I must, I'll go back to thinking I love footwear and headwear. That's been
that's
me
your
from
thing.
from the very beginning. So when I was in Australia, I went to one of their shops. Obviously, I used to love looking at retail again. It's just a hobby of mine, just continuously just looking at retail, looking at product, learning brands.
Spaces.
That's been a hobby of my whole life. I loved it.
Okay.
I've loved fashion. I love style. So when I went to Australia, I found a brand that there was no shoes like this in South Africa. Nothing.
Okay.
It was different. It was leather Huarache sandals, it was plim soles, there was some dope boots. It was really beautiful. So I came back, I was like, I need to import this brand because I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was like plaguing me.
Ever
I
since.
love this brand. And I only bought a pair of the plim soles because that was the indie sleaze days. It was indie rock days, and they were all wearing plim soles and skinny jeans. So I bought that. I was like, I got to bring this in. Somehow I have to. So I spoke to my other best mate, Clive, who again runs the factory and
with the hats and okay.
I was like, dude, you in this field. You import a lot. You sell a lot. You got all the customers. Help me do this. Let's do this together. We're best friends. Let's do this. And he loved the idea. I showed him the shoes, and what really interested him, which is something that has stuck with me, is like I loved it, and so did he love it. And we have so different tastes. We literally yin and yang. We are complete opposites in style and everything. And he's like, there's something here for everybody. So it's a great product for the market. Your inverted commas offbeat characters love it, but my mainstream characters love it also. So let's do it.
It's the perfect
So we did it. We as rambunctious young people, young guys, entrepreneurs. We just bought a container. We phoned them, spoke to them, did a deal. We went to Australia to meet them. They loved us. We loved them. I'm giving you a very short story.
Yeah.
It was amazing to do that. We showed us around. We learned the brand. Came back. They gave us a catalog. We ordered blind. We didn't sell to anybody yet. We never knew anybody.
What a leap of faith.
I was thinking about it now.
It's like, whoa.
But if we weren't young and silly and brave, we wouldn't have done it. Nowadays, I wouldn't have done it. But then I was
You
like,
think about it more
way
now.
too much, yeah. So we did it, and then we went to the market, and we found 2 stores in Cape Town. We found 3 stores up here, and we started selling out and replenishing. Then Studderford's, if you remember Studderford's.
Yeah, I remember Studderford's.
Rest in peace,
Yeah,
Studderford's.
R.I.P. to Studderford's.
It was a great store back in the day. It really was.
It
They
was.
phoned us and like, one of the shoe suppliers have let us down on a delivery.
Can
Do you
you
have any
guys-
stock available? And we were like, as long as we're able to make it look good in store, we're willing to. So we were a bit brave, we were a bit brash, which is how you do it. Sometimes, you can't be bullied by bigger guys, and you actually got to back yourself again, which I think is a recurring theme here. They did. They loved us. We did a store within store there. We built a beautiful wood store. We graffitied the logo and every wooden block. It was beautiful. All DIY.
You curated
the
space.
And we did it, and we had a sellout season. We had a sellout second season, third season, and then unfortunately we learned, which just happens, when you license brands, you don't own the brand, and they go in a different route. You can't control it.
Yes.
So they went.
It's how franchises work.
They went a more premium brand in Australia because their market is a rich market. They can afford it. The styling was completely off to where we were, and we're like, well, now we're kind of in trouble because we can't sell anything now because nothing works. So we said to them, can we buy styles that we've designed? And they gratefully or graciously said yes. We did 2 or 3 styles that we were able to do. But whilst we were doing that, I figured, let me try to see if there's a local factory that can do one style which they can't do for us. So then I found a factory, they did it, and then I was like, but hold on, why would I do it under their brand? Because we actually made a better shoe. I'm not saying their shoe was bad, we just made a better shoe. And that's because we started learning the knowledge. So we're like, hold on, why are we doing it under their brand? If we just did this ourselves.
Why don't we just
not to be arrogant or horrible, but it's like, they're not even running the style, they don't want to. And what happens if next year the styling is completely off and they're not going to allow us? So we sadly had to part ways just because it wasn't fiscally
Yeah, it wasn't going to
responsible
make
anymore.
sense, right?
And then we started a local brand which did caps and shoes, which is called Sweden Crow.
Sweden
Yes,
Crow.
yeah.
Okay.
So it was with Dean Posnack, who's Cloud's first cousin, and me and him did the brand together. So I looked like the Swede and he looked like a crow, which he named it Sweden Crow.
Yeah, I
So
always
that's the two of us.
wondered
We were the
where
characters.
that came.
We wanted a brand name that had mysterious character-based stuff, and
Okay.
it was, we made our own hat, knives. We did a factory in Cape Town where we made our own caps. We did felt hats. We did shoes. When we started going into apparel, all locally sourced, all locally manufactured.
Okay.
And stores locally couldn't believe that it was local because, again, another theme of life, we told our story and we stayed true to our story. And we were ahead thinking about across all other brands. There weren't brands, I mean, there were, I'm going to try to remember brands, excuse the memory. It was Two Bop was around, who was the only other brand really.
With the five
the
panel.
But their 5 panel was the standard 5 panel, beautiful product,
yes,
beautiful
yes,
work, also locally manufactured.
yes.
We wanted to recreated our own one, which was a snapback at the back, but we also had a cap that flipped up, which looked like a cycling cap.
The ones from the punk days.
Exactly,
from
yeah. So it
way
said, what is it?
back.
Rancid underneath or something like that. Or, no, not Rancid, I can't even remember the brand now.
Yeah.
So we wanted the flip back, but it must look like a cycling cap. It must be 5 panel with a snapback. So we worked at the factory in Cape Town. We did 4, 5, 6, 7 samples until the final one came out. And when it came out, we all had that moment like, whoa, there it is, there it is. And then we used to go to local factory, fabric stores and buy the most offbeat fabrics you could see, the ones that like were dead stock.
Yeah, no one's buying
They were
that.
used for children curtains, and so we did that.
Yeah, that.
And what we did, we started making 2 pieces, which are shorts, shirts, and caps to match. And we started selling that. And then we started getting a big name, and we had sales in Sweden, Japan, Canada, Australia.
Amazing.
And it was
Was that from social media? Like, how did it
so
grow?
Instagram just launched here.
Okay.
No, I say that just launched. I'm
Yeah,
saying it
but
was started
it's-
getting a buzz. It wasn't just launched, but people were starting to jump on it. So we were posting stuff, and we were taking photos not like
Traditional.
traditional, not traditional. Just we were doing it like let's make it like a lifestyle picture. Like we never seen South African brands do things South African way, but
yes.
everyone tried to either be American or overseas, should we say, and copy them. We're like, no, dude, let's tell our story and in our own way. Let's just do things our way.
Yes.
And we were, all 3 of us as the business, were brave enough to do things our way. And we did a photo shoot where we had beautiful models by pulling funny faces with the cap pop back. And everyone just started liking that, and the stores started liking that.
gravitating
And what we learned, which was very important, which came from Cloud's business, is that if your product is priced correctly at the good value and good price and good product, doesn't mean cheap. Good.
Good price.
Good product, good value, good product, it will sell. If you're going to be too expensive for the product you're offering, it's not going to sell. If you're going to be too cheap for the product, it's not going to sell.
Yeah.
So we learned that, and we found a sweet spot in the market at the price point for the quality and the product, and it flew. And we did that, and it rolled and rolled and rolled and rolled, and then we did good until it got to a point where it was, I'm trying to remember how it happened. We got to, was it Sportsy? But it was Sportsy and wanted to do stock us, but we also had to make caps in their own brand. And then that's where we had different ideas of business and ethics. So we did the deal, and then stories are stories. Dean went and made Simon and Mary because that was in his bloodline and his story, and it was it's an amazing story and the perfect route for him, and it's an amazing product. And for me, had to go do my own route.
Yeah, which is what Streaks.
Which will end up being Streaks.
Okay.
Yes.
And you guys had a store in
Brampton,
Yes, I remember.
So that's what happens. And from those stories, being young and arrogant and being on top of the world, thinking you're untouchable and like, oh man, I'm the best.
No one can tell me
No one
shit.
can touch me.
Yeah.
I fell from grace in respect in that my humility had to come back because I've been a humble person. And at that stage, I lost a lot of humility in my work. I wouldn't say in myself, but my work. I was doing things because I was trying to be spiteful.
Okay, to the industry,
to ex-partners, to just prove it that
I'll do it myself.
I'm the man. And I had great seasons with Streaks, and I still love what we did with Streaks, but I didn't concentrate on the business. I concentrated on the wrong things.
Everything else but
Everything else but the business.
business.
So I would think I'd had this beautiful store, and you'll sell out, and you're like, oh man,
Look at
the
me.
greatest thing ever. GQ 30 under 30, blah blah blah, and then you realize you've got no product in store. How are you going to pay rent? You're like, hold on, let's start being smart.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I woke up a little bit too late, where I remember waking up and the store was empty. And then in 2 weeks you had rent to pay. I was like, hold on, dude, maybe
What am I gonna do?
this isn't for me, maybe. Maybe you got to know who you are. You got to be true to yourself. You don't want to be everything. You want to be a creative. You want to create product. And then you start realizing, like, hold on, let's just take stock of things.
Where we are.
Yeah, where you are,
Where we
what you
come
need to
from,
do, and
yeah.
where you want to go, which is
Yeah.
more important.
Yeah.
And at that stage, the market started getting a little bit painful for me, whereas a lot of brands are popping up. The fad. I used to
Yeah.
call it the fad. Everyone wanted to be a 5-panel creator then. Everyone wanted to be a DJ. You know, they're
Yeah,
fads that go through.
That phase, I remember.
And I was like, I just can't do it right now. I needed a break. So I went back to what was instinctively true to myself, which was finding brands and marketing brands. And then when I was sitting there, because Instagram was big in those days, I was sitting there and I saw a picture of someone wearing FILA. It was a repost of Andre 3000 wearing the FILA t-shirt.
Okay.
I was like, damn, dude, my first sneaker I bought was FILA. When I played basketball when I was under 14, and I bought the FILA with the bubbles on. I was like, oh my God, this is so nostalgic. And I had like this fire burn up in me. I was like, hold on, let me go, let me see what I can do.
Let me reach out.
And I knew of the people who owned FILA, but there was no FILA in the market. That wasn't around. FILA had been known. So I was able to get a meeting with them. And I remember going to the offices in Selby, and I was sitting there and saying, hi, thanks for seeing me. I'd like to run the FILA band. And they just sat there like they laughed at me. They said, we're just going to give you advice. Don't do it. It's not worth nothing. You're going to waste your money. So I was like, please. They're like, no, go to our storeroom or showroom. There's like a pair there. Choose a pair. Thanks for coming. So I was like, okay. I tried.
Cool.
Took literally the Grant Hills.
Yeah.
Loved them. They were too small, but I had them. I framed them.
Now it's memorabilia.
Yeah. And then I carried on and I started a social media company there, which was doing restaurants, marketing, building their content.
Once again, the chef
Yeah,
thing
exactly.
came back.
I always knew that I could be successful in things I knew and understood. Or not things I knew and understood, things I wanted to know and understand, which is either chefing or the restaurant game or fashion or music.
Yeah.
So that's what I was marketing, those industries. Then a year passed and I was doing that, and my company was running and it was doing nice. I went back to them. I was like, it's a year later. Now a few celebrities have been wearing FILA. There's been a bit of buzz in the world. You can see a lot of lookbooks popping up. You're like, oh, FILA's a thing. Nostalgia's come around. Fashion is cyclical. You know, it's like,
Yes,
oh,
it
then,
does.
okay,
It does.
cool.
It does.
I'm able to go show them some more evidence that it's happening without giving them too much sauce and making them run themselves. So, but this time I went with a different approach. It's like, let me market it for you. Let me come on board and I'll market for you. I have the skill set. I know how to market this. I know the stores to stock. I know the correct people to speak to. I know the people who will wear it. I know. Let me do it for you.
I know who to seed it to.
Yeah, they said no. They said the business is dead. No, we're running other brands, which is very successful. Don't worry about it. Stop. Cool. And I was like, okay, fine. Carried on going. And then they phoned me like 3 months later. Said, hold on. It seems like you're onto something. Let's talk.
Okay.
Went there. Sportscene had phoned them to stock it exclusively.
Okay.
They said, will you come on board? Because you've
help
come,
us with
help
this.
us the marketing, help us the brand development. And I did. And we did great. We had a lot of fun with that. It was an amazing, I learned a lot because we went again to conferences overseas with all the FILA representatives around the world. And it was the first time being able to speak to other businesses that you're in and getting their perspective and learning to listen to them. And then the weird thing is they were asking us questions of how we had done things. And you start thinking to yourself like, okay, the little South Africa, and here is Korea, which is massive, telling you how to, what? How did you do this marketing campaign? Why did you choose that product? And then you have the Americans saying, but South Africa wanted to run the the disruptor before we did. Why? And you're like, hold on, okay. So now we are able to be confident enough in your vision, your understanding, the trending, and say, okay, cool, we can stand up. So you'd sit in these conferences and saying, with all these other big brands and have the fire and the ferocity to say, well, we, not I, never say I, we wanted to run the disruptor because we saw that chunky souls were coming in. We saw the other brands, and then we started doing research and saw this was part of your heritage, being a heritage brand, running heritage product, and then it all started again rolling. And then, that's the FILA story. So there was a small team.
Yeah, because I remember when FILA wasn't around, and then all of a sudden, it's back. Like, and as you're saying, it makes perfect sense.
So again, the understanding of, again, trend.
Yes.
And knowing that everything's cyclical, and you've got 20 years, and understanding what product within the history, because it's easy to say, everything in 20 years, but it's not. There's certain trends that will happen, and certain ones. You know, you've got to be able to see what movies are being remade, what music is being inspired by, what is influencing subcultures and the pop culture, because that is what's going to lead mainstream. It starts in the pop and sub and builds all the way to the mainstream. And you can say now, I mean, the Western way, I've been coining it for 4 years now, saying there is a rebirth of the hero, the Western wear, the workwear, Western
now
wear.
Country music in America
The biggest, exactly. And that's what it is. People are tired of this mass-produced, overhyped stuff. They wanted to go back to the original. And my thing is, like, as a historian, again, always be a historian in what you're doing, is like, what was the first original hero? A cowboy.
A cowboy.
Think about it, the cowboy culture.
Right.
That's the first hard worker, underclass hero, is always the cowboy, the Western wear, workwear.
So that's how you view trending, forecasting trends.
Yeah, so that's a few spheres I look at, a few silos. There's what's mainstream, what's subculture, and what's not going to work, but part of one's identity. You know, you got to, that's in my own personal. So Western wear I knew was going to be mainstream, and you can see with Louis Vuitton and everything around the world is mainstream. You could see what was happening. Also, obviously, the god of fashion, Ralph Lauren, has always been there, and he is the GOAT of all time, and he's always someone you can always look for inspiration, and always look back and see what he did.
What he did to predict.
To what, and it's always that Ralph is always going to be in the conversation forever. So for people in fashion, if you want to find some form of inspiration, Ralph has done so much. And he's doing so much, and there's so many spheres within his brandings and his brands. You can always find a piece that you can pick on and latch onto and build from. So that's why it's a bit of a cheat code.
Okay,
you know? But then you look at the other things, like you look at the sneaker culture's dying. It's died, in my opinion. This is the way I said it's going to get probably a little bit, provocative.
I hear you.
It's become too commercial.
Too commercial.
Not even on like a finance thing. It's just become too mainstream, and it's lost its spirit. Same with streetwear. You know, if you look at streetwear as the pure definition, it's wear for the street. It's not meant to be high-end fashion brands because that's not streetwear.
True.
It's built by...
I won't lie, I really saw that when Supreme got with Louis Vuitton, I was like, oh no, this is the beginning.
Well, that's
of
collab culture, so we can
but
get
I
onto
understand
that,
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, sorry, I've got my train of thought. So workwear, so streetwear. So the sneaker culture, that's where we were. Is that there had to be an alternative for sneakers. I grew up loving boots. I don't want to say I was forced by myself to learn sneaker culture because that was part of the industry I was in and going into, and I grew a mass love for it by learning and understanding how mad the Jordan deal was in those days, and how Nike popped up out of nowhere, and how Converse ran sport, and I started learning it and grew such a love for it. But my true passion came from proper footwear.
Okay.
When I use the word proper, as hard soled footwear.
I hear that.
Boots, loafers, that type of footwear. And I was like, okay, hold on, but that's my love. And then when I started seeing there was going to be a post-sneaker world out there, I was like, hold on, this is a perfect time to start introducing stuff. And that's with the Johnathan D, where my bosses, again, who I have mad respect for, Gavin and Dean and Craig, you're like, hold on, they were willing to try. They're like, we're going to go with your story. We'll get to the proper story a bit later, but it's their entrepreneurial spirit and their drive which inspires me. They were like, cool, we don't know what you're really talking about, that let's make a hard sole footwear but feel as comfortable as a sneaker, so the break-in is not as hard on people, but it's still formal but worn casually. I'm throwing all these words at them and they're like, we don't understand, but do it. And that's what we did, and that's where my first instinct of footwear came in, with the new age thinking of, I love the break-in period of boots like these and other boots. The break-in period is the most painful but the most rewarding. Once it's broken in, you will never wear another shoe ever.
That's true.
The success of sneakers is that there is no break-in period. Well, there's not supposed to be. It's like, let me put it on, let me walk. Cool, well done.
It is what it is, right?
So I wanted to take try reintroduce the break-in period, but not as harsh and not as hard as what it is originally. And that's where,
formal shoes.
that's where the penny mark that we did was so successful. Full rubber sole, orthopedic insock. The break-in period wasn't bad, but it's a formal sole, formal shoe. And luckily, I say luckily, it was with knowledge and with understanding that formal footwear is going to take over the streetwear scene. Because of the death of sneaker culture, and there had to be an alternative to footwear. People were tired of wearing the same thing that everyone's wearing, and that's just consumer behavior.
And that's just human.
Yeah, it's
like,
human nature. Yeah, we don't hate it. That's part of our business. I love that part of the business. It keeps us growing, keeps us building, and we can sell product because of it, and we can move on because of it. So I love that concept that people don't want to be sheep.
Yes,
there's a mass crowd that wants to be sheep, but not everyone wants to be sheep. And that's where one of our saying is, don't send the wolf to hunt the sheep. No, don't send the sheep to hunt the wolf. Yeah. So that's where we use that in our business. Like, okay, well, we want to be the wolf not being hunted by sheep, you know. So don't let the sheep follow us the whole time. Let us build, let us keep creating. When it's at the sheep, we can keep moving, you know.
Okay.
In a positive way. It's not a negative
way. Yeah, in a positive way, of course.
So yeah, that's where that came, and that's where the trending you can see, where you understand, I call them the death of sneaker culture. Well, not the death, it's not dead. It's died. To me, to us, it's died. It's still a massive business. But there is a whole silo and sphere which is going to be born from that, and we can be the leaders, because I have a love for that and an understanding, and I want to see it succeed. Personally, I'm obsessed with seeing it succeed.
What a great insight once again, right? Okay, let's bring it back to the timeline. So you're doing everything at FILA.
And then,
And then how does Johnathan D, how do you hop over into Johnathan D? What's going on in that?
So Gavin, head of JD, he phoned me because he was seeing that the brand needed new blood. Him and Dean and Craig, they were like, this brand needs new blood. It's been running for, I think, it's 50 or 70 years, 76.
1978, right?
76, 78, 1978, sorry. And they're like, it's time for change. As everything, things need to evolve. Exactly. And they were seeing how I brought back a dead brand, FILA, and made it relevant. And they wanted to do that with their brand. And they didn't want to lose their story. They just wanted to create a new chapter within it with the rich source and heritage. Exactly what I did at FILA. I gave it a new life, So I was like, okay, cool. I loved what they were saying. I loved them. I respected them, their hustle always. They do great product. And for them, what I love is it's not just about selling, it's about product also, which is what I love. I love product. And they love product. So I was really interested and wanted to join the brand and their business, but also be able to do my stamp on the business. And they wanted my stamp on the business. So that was really exciting. And that's it. And then when it came in, we had the discussion, how are we going to do it? And I was like, I could see again with the trending, with the understanding that tailoring was going to come back and formal wear is going to come back. This is pre-pandemic, okay? So we'll use the pandemic as like
a time mark.
A cursor is just like, we can't use it as a story because it's just a blip in the history of life that we will never be able to explain. So we wanted to make it a more refined streetwear. That was my thing. It's like, there's so much streetwear out there at the time. When I joined in, was it 5 years ago? So much streetwear at the time. You can't compete to the streetwear. You're not a new brand that's edgy and cutty and cutting. Not cutting. Cutty's other brand. You can't do that. But let's put our stamp on the streetwear. Let's be refined streetwear. Let's give them an offering in streetwear, them as in consumers, an offering that's a little bit different, more refined, and tailored, new version of the streetwear it's going. I could see it was going there. One of my favorite bands of all time, ALD, which is now, they were busy popping. No one knew of them. But we had the chance to be in New York and see them and go to their store. Teddy Santis to me is probably under Ralph, the next best creative director of all time. So those two, and the weird thing is, again, researching Teddy, he is highly inspired by Ralph. And my love for Ralph and my love for him, you can see it's all the same handwriting.
It's all the same thing.
And that's what I said, like,
tracing the inspiration.
Be a historian, So there it is. Let's building and let's learn and let's make Johnathan D more attainable to the youth and understanding of what fashion is again now. Actually, I don't even use the word fashion because fashion seems so short term. It's all style. Style's more permanent.
Style is for forever.
Yes, exactly. Right. So let's make Johnathan D more style and style orientated for the new age we want to approach, which was a younger demographic. So that's exactly was the intention. That was the timelines, the course forward. So that's where we're at, and that's where the introduction of the penny was exactly perfect. It was.
I think that's one of the most successful products I've ever seen a brand reintroduce themselves into. And I was like, it's so successful. It's such a great product that this isn't a mistake.
Exactly. So that's what it was.
It can't be a mistake.
So, luck is when hard work,
And
the
opportunity
meets. Exactly as
Yeah.
that. We were working hard and finding, building that product. I tried for many years under Sweden Crow and Streaks, and I was getting there. We were doing it. Sweden Crow, we made an Oxford shoe.
Yeah.
Which had all prints over it with a full leather sole. It was beautiful. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But because of South African created, we had limitations of how far we can push the last and the styling of it. Then the Streaks, I wanted to take a Doc Marten boot and just make it a little bit more refined, even though I think Doc Marten's amazing. It just wasn't my taste level at that stage, which we did, and we sold out. It was brilliant. And I was like, hold on, this is the next evolution. We were able to go to China because we were already dealing with China. I was able to go to good factories that understood footwear, and it wasn't just like, let's buy off shelf, because my MO is not to buy off shelf. I've never wanted to copy. Copying is,
Let's
for me,
build it from the ground up.
Copying is the death of creativity. It's easy. It's the easy way out.
lazy.
It works. It's not me. I've never been able to. Every time I try to for the success of
doesn't
selling,
work
I
out.
failed. Like, this is going to work. This is direct copy. It fails because there's no love to it. There's no passion to it, and it's hard to sell the story when you're not in love and passionate about it.
Yeah.
So
The penny loaf.
yeah, so exactly. I love loafers. I wanted to. There was at that stage, only loafers on lug soles were done years back. It was actually Timberland with the 3-eye lug. Nothing on offer on that. So I was like, I love lug soles because it's a rugged workwear. I can see it coming into fashion. Let's put the rugged sole on the loafer, but let's make it with mesh lining, because sneakers are mesh lining. It's soft break-in. An orthopedic sock instead of just a flat leather in sock, so it's comfortable on foot. The full rubber sole, there's no mixed fabric. It's full rubber sole. It's going to last forever. Guys and women can walk
in
miles and miles in it. You'd be fine. And that's what we did. And we came at a good price. We came good quality, again, good price, good product.
Literally,
3 Gs, that's it. And
I
then
wanna
we
ask-
couldn't believe how it blew up.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
secretly it's going to. You like these things yourself, like, but once you put it out there, like, is it really going?
because you never really know
never
until
really know.
you put it
Yeah, you
out,
feel
right?
confident, and when the shoe arrives, I've had product when I've made and the shoe arrives, you're like, this is disastrous. I can't. This is an absolute disaster. My idea didn't translate.
I hear that.
And I tried everything, and I can't fix it. So you just put it away. It's okay.
hear
But when this arrived, you're like, whoa, okay,
This
whoa,
is it.
whoa. You can see it. It's kind of like when you open that briefcase and the
Yeah.
light shines. You're like, oh no.
Yeah.
And we all felt it. It was kind of weird. All in the room felt it. Like, wow, okay. And then it actually happened, which was.
I remember at that time seeing it, and maybe you can tell me because you were directly involved with it. But I remember that Scoop Makhathini was also like a really big part in like helping it blow up.
So yes.
How did that even happen?
So I've known Scoop for years, since Streaks days. Actually, he used to shop
dope.
at the shop.
Dope.
A really good mate of mine, Cabello and Kitso from Frat Packer.
Sobering.
Yeah, Sobering. I love those dudes.
Love them.
They introduced us as people, because obviously the Sobering, and I love those guys. I thought they were the in the hip hop
Historians
world.
as well.
Yeah,
Historians
storytellers,
as well.
unbelievable storytellers. But I think they do things correctly always. Also D.I.Y, great thinking, great storytelling. I just think their music career should have been bigger because they were super talented. That's a biased opinion. I played drums for their band also.
Oh, yes,
yeah, I love that. Yeah,
that's
so it was a dream come true. I always wanted to be in a hip hop group. Questlove is like my second best drummer of all time, and I always wanted to be
that
a hip hop drummer.
connects,
And they gave me the opportunity, so I'm forever grateful for that.
Dope.
I got introduced to a lot of other musos and the whole scene I would never be involved in. Because of them, they got me introduced to Scoop. Follow the Sobering. I love them.
Yeah.
They,
Shout out to the Sobering
Their
podcast.
podcast is unbelievable. The knowledge that they spit all the time is unbelievable.
Historians, storytellers, like
Unbelievable. And then Scoop messaged me, said, I see you wearing Johnathan D. I'm changing my brand to get more refined. Also, obviously being a guy in trend, he knows how to go with it. So I said, well, dude, actually, I'm the creative lead there right now. Came through, got some product, loved the product, and that was the story, yeah.
damn. Yeah,
So,
because I
yeah.
remember he was like, just from an internet perspective, he was like a huge part in like
a nice opportunity for both parties to come together
come
at that stage. He
together.
was looking for a new change, leaving the, should we say, the 90s hip-hop flair, which he was known for, and which was on trend for many years. He actually came to FILA, sorry if I lie, he also came to FILA. He was the first ones to get the new Grant Hills. So exactly. So again, cyclical. We're the same age, so I guess when you're the same age and you in industries, you have the same taste. The same, you'll find.
And reference points.
Exactly,
right?
your memory is all the same. So that's exactly what it was, and that's how that happened. And then obviously with the boom of that, and then the boom of ALD, which led every creative brand in the world there, followed them and have drained that well dry. We knew that thing, again, with our love from Ralph and the love from him. We had the same look and feel, the same reference points, as you can see. That's how the JD brand got
literally
new life. New life and new product offering and a new amazing story to tell.
And demographic.
That was the most important.
Right?
Yes, and was, again, I want to preface, it was important for me to respect the rich history. And again, the leads there, Gavin, Dean, and Craig, for them to have the courage to do what they did was incredible and it's inspiring. And we should all have mentors like that. So yeah, I love that. That's the story.
Talk to me about the pressure of going to work at a legacy brand and just being scared to not fuck this opportunity up, fuck this brand up, like to ruin this thing. How did you deal with like the pressure?
I think it was me eating a very big piece of humble pie, gave me the opportunity to reset myself. Not my thinking, not my behavior, not my self-confidence or self-awareness, just to realize that if you're going to tell someone's story, you're not bigger than the story, but you can be part of the story. It's good to have your legacy in the story. Again, I'll call on guys like Hedy Slimane, Alessandro Michelli. They tell the story in response to the brands they're at, but it's their story for the brand. And I wanted to be able to take myself out of being the face and the brand namesake or something that's all on me and just say, like, hold on, let's take a brand and let's build it and it can be the chapter, like that can be the Dale chapter of it. And it was a great chapter. And you don't want to look back at that chapter with like embarrassment.
And be like,
and I messed up.
Messed up.
And that was the good challenge for me. At that stage, also, again, humble pie, and I say this with humility, we had massive success with Sweden Crow. We had great success with Streaks. I just messed the business up personally, and I was able to say, like, Colvin, I've been given an opportunity to not worry about the business, but worry about building a brand again and doing good product and go back to its roots again as a historian. Build good product for the brand, and that what excited me. I was like, I don't have to worry about being a storyteller and try get into magazines and try do this. I don't have to do that. I can actually just go back to what I loved as
create
from my heart. And they're giving me a lot of rope that I can go out and explore and build. And for them, it was like, it's a new brand, but with heritage and a story. So respect the story. And I'm like, okay, this sounds so exciting that I can go and create. And there's no pressure on your creation because they have an understanding there is a timeline and they're giving me the rope to go. And when the rope runs out, it was no one else to blame but myself.
It's yours.
Which was exciting because I didn't want to actually, I learned to blame myself previously not running a business correctly. And I was like, okay, great. And I did it and I was able to, have flair and fall in love again with product, being able to go to China products, go to China fairs. We travel overseas to get inspiration and go and just get caught up in inspiration. And it's easy to scroll and get doom scrolling and like, this brand is ALD, this brand is that, this brand is that, this brand is that, this brand looks like that, and you're like, it's so boring. And when we go, for me personally, I did it ever since I was at 4 Year Accessories. I went there to see, not to look at the stores to get inspiration, look at the stores to get a handle of the product, because I don't know that. I don't know fabrics. I had to learn. But how do you learn? By touch and feel. So that's why I was going to stores, to touch and feel. But I was actually going more to people watch and seeing the subcultures and the pop cultures. When you're overseas at these big fashion hubs, you can see what people are wearing, and there's so much going around. And it's not the sheep, because everyone will wear the sheep situation, which is good to know for your business again. But it's the one odd character that walks past. And again, it's the oddball. You're like,
once again,
there we go. Me and you, we're the same. And I can see what you're wearing and I understand what you're doing, because I'm wearing it also. And I'm from South Africa, and here are we in the middle of Soho, and you wearing it. So I feel confident in knowing that it's going to come in. And that's where I think a lot of people, I hope they get the opportunity to do that. But the guys that do buy for stores locally, they go and just shop off shelves.
Yeah.
They don't realize, I'm giving away a secret code again.
Yeah.
It's not what's on shelf.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's not
what's on shelf
where
is
it's
the
going.
handle feel, the look and feel of what to do or what not to do. And I've learned is what not to do more than what to do, because the quality of product lately is terrible. And that's another, we can discuss that. And that's where my internal zagging, where everyone's zigging, and the historian and the maverick and trailblazer is coming out again and going forward, which is exciting for Johnathan D. But it is learn from what they're doing, learn from their mistakes, and you'll be successful
and then
also.
you'll be
Again,
successful.
do your own.
Yes, that DIY, that mentality just seems to be every part of your career. I really wanted to ask you, how long does it take from idea till the shoe or the t-shirt or the pants, in terms of Johnathan D?
So I mainly focus on footwear.
Okay,
It's
just
my
the
main
footwear.
development. I assist on the look and feel of the apparel and stuff, but I don't speak to the factories on the apparel. I'm purely
The shoe.
So I'd rather be able to speak more comfortably on the shoes for you guys to give you a proper in-depth.
Yeah, of the timeline.
Yeah, so if you saw that there on my Instagram, I don't know if you did or not, I did a cowboy boot, which has been 4 years in the making. That has taken me 4 years from idea to actual product. And
So
that's
it's
been
running through samples.
finding a factory, again, let's go back, let me call back on I wanted a proper traditional heritage cowboy boot. I didn't want a made in mass factory China. So I say China, made in a China factory. I wanted the hand craftsmanship of a proper cowboy boot. This is a personal project, so let me get it out the way first. So it took me years to find the factory in Mexico, and they were willing to make me a one of one in my own dimensions, open elast, which is the shape of the boot. Everything, 4 years for that one. But so that's that side. That's when you're being very microscopic and picky, and it needs to fit this side. My foot is a 25.1 centimeter foot. It has to be 25.1 centimeters. I want this leather. I want the logo this size. That's being very nitpicky and very microscopic. That's 4 years.
4 years.
But that is a lot of anal retentive behavior, and that's not commercially viable. For JD, the penny mark was a year in making.
Okay, from
idea to sampling to selling to delivery in store was a year in making.
Okay.
So why it took so long in that respect, it was because we weren't happy with quality, and I'm not going to hamper on quality.
Okay.
I'm going to offer my Robin Hood mentality maybe is I'm not going to make someone spend the hard-earned money, which is so hard to make, on something that you're not proud of, and that's not going to last them. I hated it when I did it, when I bought products and it just fell apart, killed me.
Apart.
I fell in love in the style and fashion because of product. And branding came second, and I started respecting branding second. But when I had my first cowboy boot, I loved it. I don't even know what brand it was, but I loved it so much, and it became part of me. That's why I told you about being a 6-year-old. And I want people to fall in love with product.
With product rather than the brand.
Well, the brand, as I said, it's as important because you trust the brand. And we want to be able to be trusted. And
But you trust it because of the product.
yes, and you're offering a good quality, good product,
So it's
good value.
literally a
the
loop.
full circle for it. So we took long because we needed to get the product correct.
Okay.
Because Jonathan D never really did footwear properly before me. And we're still doing footwear properly. We're going forward to do footwear even better. We're still learning. It took us a while to find factories that we were happy with, the quality, make sure the fabrication was good, make sure the styling is correct, and everything was perfect. So that's why. So it takes about, I'd say
12 months.
Yeah, maybe
Or less.
sometimes 16, 12 to 16, to get a perfected product with a full size curve,
Ready
box.
for the market.
Yeah, we also change. Every shoe has its own box design, has its own tissue paper, has its own. So we name it names because we want every shoe to have a story. It's not like, so that's the only one that doesn't have a name is the penny mark, because that was, we wanted it to be idealistic, the penny mark. We wanted that. But everyone else is like the Ray, the Denton, the Dax. Everyone has a story, but it all comes from the penny was just good enough to have the penny mark.
That's almost the hero product.
Exactly.
Right.
And doesn't need a name. It's
Literally.
just there, you know?
Okay. Damn. Okay, let's switch gears, right? I speak to every guest who comes on Dead Radio about the evolution of their dreams, right? Because I'm always so interested in how people's dreams evolve, right? Your dream originally was start the band. It happened, and then you moved to the UK to go work in fashion. Came back, started your brand, and then worked for 2 legacy companies. Right? What's a new dream for Dale today that you didn't have a year ago, 2 years ago? Because dreams are always evolving. Once you get into the building, you find, oh snap, there's 10 other doors I can
You're
actually
brilliant at this.
walk
I'm just going to say, you're brilliant at this.
Thank
dude.
you so
I hope
much,
you're living
bro.
your dream, because this should be your dream. This is amazing, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's great that you asked that, because growing up, as I said, rock star, that's what I wanted to be. That was it. Whatever it is, I use rock star loosely. I just wanted to be the focus. I wanted to do something that was
On
there.
stage,
Then
killing it.
I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old daughter, which are the loves of my life.
Amazing.
With my wife.
Shout
love
out
of my
to
life.
them.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah.
And it was very recent. You sit back, you're like, hold on. My dream is to make them live their dreams now. And I will do everything I can that they can go live their dreams. I was given a lot of opportunities from my parents, and I'm so grateful for it. I want to make sure that, the same like when I told my parents I'm going into fashion, they never said no. They said, go do it the best you can. We're giving you the opportunity to be able to chase that dream. I want to be able to say that to my kids. When they come up to me, whatever their dream is, and they say to me, I want to do X, I'm going to say, I'm going to make you I'm going to help as much as I can, and whatever I can do to make sure you live your dream, because I'm living my dream, which I am. I am living my dream. And life isn't easy, and life's hard, but I'm living my dream. As I said, I wake up, I'm happy. Even on my saddest days, I realized that, hold on, I'm living a dream. So I went.
Amazing.
That's my new dream, and it took me a while. It came with age.
Figure that.
It came with age, a slight midlife crisis that you wake up and you're like, whoa, who am I? What am I doing? Like, what is this? You hate fashion because the game is now Shein and Temu and blah blah blah, which I want us to discuss. But it's like, hold on, hey, hold on. I'm still afforded the opportunity to carve my way in this lane, make product for people that they're going to love and will love, and I'm not going to change that. And the more important thing is I'm going to let my 2 kids live their dreams. So that's my dream. Okay. I want to be the trailblazer that's going to run through walls and open up that for them.
For them.
Yeah.
Fuck, I think you're the first guest on Dead Radio to say, at the point you're at in your career, your dream is to make their dream.
And you got to do whatever you want, but I still got to live life. Don't get me wrong. It's
of course,
important to live life, but it's not about me being, Kanye or being, it's not, because that is not who I am. That's not my story. My story was to get to who I am now, and now going forward is to make my kids live their best life. That's my story. Yeah.
Bro, that's fucking amazing.
But I still love product, and I'm still going to do good product. There's my little selfish sauce in there.
Okay. And then let's switch gears again. What's your perspective on the South African fashion scene through a 2024 lens? You've done so much. You've seen the different eras. We're living through like the time where purists don't exist anymore. Subcultures don't exist. Everyone is inspired through the timeline. What's your perspective on what's going on and where we heading?
So currently it's a little bit of a negative perspective.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I'm an old head now, as you said. I'm happy I'm an old head because it helps me better myself. There is a phase where you're worried about what's happening on a global aspect also, not even on a local, like the rise of I said Shein and TV. It's disastrous for the industry, it's disastrous for the world, it's disastrous for us, and it's disastrous for people who run brands. What is good and what will come out of that is that you can create amazing products still. Because factories that aren't able to compete with them are going to open their doors to have new business come in, because they're no longer going to be able to make their living off the brands that aren't surviving anymore. As long as you take that gift, which we've had 15 years to figure out that gift, work with good factories, and use it for the good, it's going to be unbelievable. So that's my positive spin on it. What I really hope is that people stop copying. I really hope, let the represents and the Cole Buxtons
that
be
keeps
the
coming
represents and
up
Cole
in
Buxtons.
everything that you say, like the copying thing.
Copying is not good. It's complacent copying. And I know there's not an original idea. We know that. Copying from one is what's this saying? Is copying from one is copying from 2 sources is plagiarism. Copying from 3 is a new idea. So find 3 sources. One is copying.
Put it together.
No, one's inspired. Sorry, copying from 1 source is inspiring. Copying from 2 sources is plagiarism. Copying from 3 sources is a new idea. So take all your take all your inspirations and make your own story. That's what I did.
Hear that.
You know, I loved hip-hop, punk, indie, cowboy. That's what I loved.
Put it all together.
And skate culture, obviously. I
Yes,
loved all
yes.
that, and I put it in. I found the
And
way how
it's a
to
new thing.
incorporate everything into my story. And then when I finally found the whole fit that I made for myself, I felt like I was a full puzzle. Like, you know, earlier when I was just wearing baggies and hip hop
Yeah,
look, I felt like something was missing. But then I put on boots. I was like, okay, I'm getting there. But then I put on a trilby hat. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm feeling better. Then you start cropping your shirt. You start whatever the thing is. Then when you finally found your feel and your identity, you're like, hold on, I'm feeling full now. And that's what I want people to do. Like, people in the business, don't copy from one. Don't copy from two. Take 3 ideas and make your own.
Make something new.
Exactly, and that's where you will. That's where you
That's
will
brilliant.
be successful,
Yeah.
and that's where you will find a consumer base and grow from there.
hear
So that's for me where it frustrates me locally, and it's. I know there's different circumstances that make it not achievable all the time, but rather do less and
Yes,
find your way. You'll
yes.
end up doing more.
Yes.
Instead of trying to do everything and copying everything, it's not going
It's
to
not
work.
gonna
I promise you it's not going to work. You're going to have
Okay.
we call it the firecracker effect. It's going to
yeah.
spark and disappear, and you're gone forever.
Yeah, you're
There's
right.
no firecracker that's going to look the same. It's gone.
You're right.
But
you're
rather just find your lane,
You're
get
right.
inspired by a few. Don't take what's on trend. Trust
Yeah.
me, don't take what's on trend if you're building a brand.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be
Yeah.
stuck in that trend forever. And it's so hard to take from trend to a new thing.
Damn.
Rather,
Write this
yeah.
down.
so another one of my left-handed quotes is, don't worry about competition, be tunnel vision on your own story. That's it. Don't worry about what the brand Z, whatever
is
is
doing.
Do your story
And
build the industry and stay in your tunnel vision. What
Yeah.
do you want to do? And that's what we do. So yeah, so the scene, that's the problem. There's a lot of copying. at the
copying and
moment.
pasting,
Yeah,
copying and
it's
pasting.
a big problem. And you know, like I know because I'm in it. I know where the original source
Yeah,
came
yeah,
from
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm watching data. It's my hobby.
I hear that. So
rather-
you can
yeah.
pinpoint where this
Yeah.
inspiration comes from, where this comes from.
My
'cause-
humble advice, honestly, humble advice, and it's great advice. Put down the phone, watch a movie a day. Don't watch a new movie, watch an old movie. Watch an old movie, you'll see the fashion in there, the trend, the style that is impeccable. Because why? They didn't have the internet to go, so they had to go build a character base. You know, every character that is stuck out in a movie, they had to build it from down up, scratch. Go look at their trend, go look at their styling, go look how their product is made. Read a book. Or look at old music videos and our old music.
Yeah.
Listen, trust me, that's where you're going to find the inspiration.
Yeah.
Because everything is cyclical, but you
Yeah.
need to go to the source.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you do it. So that's that. But yeah, that's where I am.
Okay.
That's my hope. I said it earlier. I believe South Africans, we have mad creativity. We're probably some of the most creative people in the world. If not, we really
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
We've had to learn to do things our own way always.
Yeah,
And it's the best thing we could have done. Circumstances that you had to learn how to take photos on bad cameras. Learn how to make music, learn how to make fashion by showing
t-shirts,
exactly.
pants,
It was for the best, I trust me. You don't want to be at the top and like, oh, I can do anything. You're going to learn nothing. Do a trial and error. And I promise you, we just got to stop copying. We got to think globally, but act locally. That's how we do it. That's what Johnathan D did. We thought globally, we acted locally.
In
And I
a
got that
local
from Paul
context.
Smith.
Yeah.
I was one design in Derby in Cape Town. He spoke and he said his success was he thought globally but acted locally. He took what he had locally but had a global thing to it. And that's why I think some South African brands lose their understanding. They try either be just globally
Yeah.
or they just try to be locally.
Yeah.
That's it. So think
There's a
globally, act
balance
locally. Yeah.
between being global but in a local context.
And the
right?
thing is, make a good product. There
hear
are
that.
factories here. You will hit a plateau in a factory, but there are CMTs locally that you can use to start. You don't have to go buy from China. You don't. It's going to hurt your business first.
I hear that.
Build slow. If you want to make T-shirts and hoodies, there are factories that can do it for you.
I hear that.
It's on Google. Just jump on
hear
Google. But go there, go to the factory, and have
Yeah,
your
feel
have
it.
your feel on it. Literally pick up the
Touch
product, feel it, wear it. I test wear the shoes before we even make a shoe. Every sample come out in a size 7, and I wear them for 3 months before any shoe makes it out. I refuse to sell something I wouldn't wear.
I hear that.
So that's also something. It's like, if you're not going to wear it, why would I want someone else to wear it?
I hear that.
Yeah, so that's my take on the fashion scene. But there are also great brands around.
Yeah,
I've loved Dead from the
yeah,
beginning, and I love
yeah.
what the guys do here always. Always in the beginning, it was amazing.
I hear that. Thank you
There
so
are
much.
brands that are sticking to their stories always, and that's great. Do it. You must do it.
Just stick to your
Again,
story.
competition is healthy. Just
Yeah.
don't fixate on your competition.
I feel
you know?
that. Okay.
Conor McGregor said, winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners.
yeah.
So just stick in your lane and win.
Yeah. Okay, damn, this has been such a great, insightful...
Sorry, I waffled there. I apologize.
Don't
I
even
ramble,
worry
man.
about it. This has been such a great, insightful conversation. So many keys, so many jewels. But I think let's wind it down, right?
Yes, sir.
What's your last piece of advice to a kid out there who's playing drums?
Yeah.
A kid out there who's working in a retail store? A kid who wants to break out and forge their own path? What's Dale's last piece of advice to this person?
So I'm going to try to keep this as small as possible. So the first thing is what my dad told me. Learn the business of it. In order to be successful, you got to know your business. You got to know your business. And what does that mean? That breaks down. Start from the grassroots and build up to the top. You can't be a CEO if you don't know how the bottom works. It's impossible.
It's impossible.
You've got to know everything.
True.
So if you,
True.
I tell you, and I get the DMs all the time. I want to come work. I want to go back. So go work in a warehouse. Just go for a month. Just go learn how to pack and pick and ticket and learn. That's how I started. Go learn that because that's the grassroots of it. That's the most important. The product comes in. That's the product that needs to go out. From there, go retail, sales, design, CEO, whatever.
Follow the steps.
Follow the steps. That's number one. Number two is know your story and stick to your story. And the third most important thing is always follow your gut. Your gut won't lead you wrong.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Whatever your gut says, it's not going to lead you wrong. Because when I never followed my gut, it led me wrong.
That's where
and it
you
still
go
does, even it's the little stuff. You know, always listen to the gut. Your gut will always tell you if it's right or wrong.
I hear that.
And that's it.
Damn.
And also, last thing, don't forget, we're all consumers, and you're not going to buy products you're never going to enjoy selling. So I'm a consumer, and that's why I say it's the 3G: good product, good price, and a good place. That's it. So, because I'm a consumer myself, I love product.
Yes.
And when I get sold product I can't believe I paid for, it breaks my heart.
I hear
I don't want to ever sell the product that's going to break someone's heart.
I hear that.
And that's the advice.
This has been one of my favorite conversations. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back with another episode of Dead Radio from your boy Ini.
And you're live on Dead Radio.